Hi everyone, welcome to today's edition of Mom Mind Over Matters. I am your humble host, Shalapa Mitao Rasi, also known as Maria Fute. Today's edition is about navigating loneliness, being alone in a crowd. Yes, it's quite tricky, yeah, but very straightforward at the same time. You know, there are some people where you see them, they're always life of the party. They are always the one who get to go to when they need excitement, when they need the whole ginger thing, positivity mindset, great vibes, and always there, always present, always checking up on people. There's the people that they'll be the one to send very long voice notes, messages, giving you all the deets, all the teas, and all the gist that you miss. But this same set of people are the ones whereby once they get to their own personal, when they're alone in the room, the silence is so loud that it's deafening. It is very, very overwhelming. And this is only because, they don't even know how to control people's feelings or perception about them, because deep loneliness is all about you being physically available but not emotionally seen. It's about you being, you feel misunderstood. You feel out of place so many times, and it's not a very good feeling, really. As an individual, I really do not want to ever get to that kind of place, because it might be very scary, because being lonely in a crowd might be the height or the turning point to being depressed. And, we all know what depression comes along with. The feeling of being lonely, even when being surrounded by people, being visible but not emotionally heard by people or being understood, is what we're talking about, navigating loneliness and being alone in the crowd. So navigating loneliness is something that one has to be very, very careful and intentional about. So many times people forget the fact that emotions are all part of being alive. I mean, there are times where you're allowed to be sad, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to be happy, excited, all of these feelings, all of these emotions. People really need to go through this feeling. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, you really need to take the time out to be still and, know that this is what you need or whatever it is. Because if you keep shoving aside the true feelings of how you really feel, before you know it, everything just piles up inside, and the day you would explode. Even you yourself, you wouldn't even know how, or how come about the feeling, or how come about the explosion, and how you can't even understand or navigate your feelings anymore. That's because of too many repressed emotions. You don't have to repress your emotions because of the whole Nigerian slogan, "We move thing, no time for being like a destined." Imagine being in the midst of so many people, but you still feel very alone. I mean, that's even worse than being alone in your room. I hope you know that. Like, at least when you're alone in the room, you know that, okay, fine, or nobody's here with me, I'm all alone by myself. It gets a thing, so many thoughts start creeping into your mind and all of that. But being in the midst of so many people, being in the gathering where they're having fun, clubbing, they're just there giving everybody ginger, the hype, and giving people positivity, the whole vibe they need to enjoy the moment. But deep down, you're not even enjoying nothing. You're just a false facade, like I usually say. And all of these things have its own effects on your mental health. And one of the first side effects that this is going to have is chronic stress, anxiety. The main thing that actually gets us stressed out is a situation whereby you don't get to have the time or the opportunity to express how you feel to a particular situation. Maybe, for example, you didn't meet up your deliverables at work, and at home the landlord or landlady is giving you pressure. Then you have some friends that are just getting on your nerves. Could be family members. All of these things you don't even get to allow yourself to feel and live through the whole moment, but you try to shove everything aside. Before you know it, all of these things compile together, turns into serious anxiety issue. And by the time it has gotten to an situation where you are having anxiety, and every little thing gets you triggered and all of that, I really do not know how best to put it without sounding negative, but you're like a ticking time bomb, like I usually say. The idea of putting things aside intentionally because you do not want to be maybe seen as weak or as being dramatic or as being stressful is not a very good idea. You're the only one that is in your head. You're the only one that knows what is going on in your head. So please try to be sure. Try to live through any moment you're going through. When you're lonely and you need someone to talk to, please get someone to talk to. It could be therapy. It could be anything. We have some common causes of loneliness, being alone in the crowd, feeling of loneliness, and one of them is unmet feeling, unmet emotional needs. Sorry, the first one is unmet emotional needs. What do I mean by this? It could be some kind of emotional satisfaction that you ought to have gotten from your family. It could be from your friends. It could be a lover, a relationship. You know, when you're not getting this kind of emotions that you need to be met, it has a way of bringing you down mentally, and before you know it, you start feeling very depressed, sad, lonely, low self-worth esteem, because none of these emotions are being met, and at a point you start to wonder, like, why is everything going on against you? Like, but then again, it is not exactly going on against you. It is just because you have some expectations that you have attached to some people and some certain situations in life, and that's one of the reasons why I like to tell people, do not expect anything from people. It could be your friends, it could be your family member, it could be your colleague. Learn to live life with having low or no expectation from people. Just do your own part, play your part, and just leave the rest. Let it just go with the flow. Do your best and leave the rest to God, like I usually say. Second most common factor of getting this feeling is social mask. Most of the time, people just tend to go with the flow outside when they're with people, social gathering, you're around family, you're around everybody, but you don't want them to know that something is really wrong with you deep down. That you're just there, but you're actually not present mentally. People need to learn to live in the present. Like, social mask is a very, very big thing, especially in this world of technology we are in today. Before you know it, you just go through your phone and you're seeing people giving you highlights of their interesting life. Nobody likes to post their failures online. Nobody likes to show people their downtime. So everything you see are just highlights of the good times online. So learn to, avoid all of those things. It will really help you go a long way with all of this feeling. Another one is cultural expectations. It could be your religion, it could be your family expectation, it could be at work. There's some unnecessary expectations that people put on themselves and even on you because of them, because they cannot tend to get it done by themselves. They put the expectation on you as someone who is, should I use the word subordinate, or someone they feel they can, pour all of their problems on. Do not let all these cultural expectations put you in a place where you have to drown in your feelings. No, live through the moment, whatever it is that is going on. Let people be aware, and you yourself, first of all, most importantly, you really have to be aware of your feelings at that particular time. So another thing that can actually make people get into this situation is trauma or loss. So many times when we lose the loved ones, especially family, we tend to lose a part of ourselves. People just make up excuses and reasons for themselves for having not to live through that moment, through the emotions. Fine, maybe you lost someone this week, and before you know it, the next week you're already back to work, acting like nothing happened. Before you know it, actually, you're just there, but your mind is not there. You're just working, you're trying to work. You'll not even meet up to deliverables to start with, and all you keep getting is query upon query upon query. And my dear, you're going to lose more by not facing your emotions than actually taking the time out to face them. Because how will people know you're just there and you're not even present? They won't even know what's going on in your head. Please give yourself the time. Like I say, always give time some time. For another common cause of this being alone in the crowd is personality mismatch. Yes. For example, you're an introvert, but because you have to go out there to please people, you keep giving out energies that you know that deep down you don't even have the energy to spare. Now, people see you as someone who is an extrovert and life of the party. But deep down, we all know that you're not even an extrovert to start with, talk less of a life of the party, but because you're not being true to yourself, you're not living true to your true self, and because you want to match up to their energy, or because you want to make them feel better about themselves, not even minding how you feel about yourself. The mismatch of identity is really, really something that is common especially in this age and time, because of social media most of the time, and because of societal expectations from us. If you're someone who is very observant of yourself, you're self-aware, you just realize there are some things that you just do that you usually do not do. So there are some signs that you might be experiencing being alone in the crowd. That's navigating loneliness. There are some signs. And first, one of the signs is being tired after social interaction. Like the example I made last, I said you're an introvert, but you're trying to act like an extrovert. Once the moment you get back into your humble abode, my dear, you're going to crash out literally because your social battery is run down. Because most times people that are introverts are not people. It's not like they don't like people. Because someone like me, I'm more of an introvert. It's not like I don't like people, but sometimes I could rather be as lazy as sleeping than go out to interact with people. Because I have very low social battery and I don't deceive myself. I know what I need and I know what is good for me. So I do not try to be who I am not, or who I am not, or who I am rather. Any small thing, you're tired after social interaction. Just ordinary conversation. Maybe you're with someone. Oh Lord, I do this thing a lot. The moment I'm out, maybe after work, I have, laughed and played and made everybody happy, blah, blah, blah. The moment I get home, just seeing my door alone, I'm like, oh, I missed you. Like, I just want to get inside, yank off everything I have on, take a shower, and just lay in bed for like at least an hour and act like the world was almost crashing on my head while I was outside. That's how it happens to me, because I'm not the type that wants to interact with people all the time. And no, do not mistake me. It's not like I don't like people. Maybe I'm not really a people's person, but actually, I'm more of an introvert. Let's just keep it at that. Okay. And to let you know that you're actually experiencing loneliness is when you realize you're the one that's always checking up on people. You don't even have people that really checks up on you. That's to make you realize how lonely you are. You don't have people that just say, oh wait, I've not heard from this person today. Let me just pick the phone up. You go through your call log, you realize everything is outgoing calls. You go through your messages, you're only the one initiating messages, initiating chats all the time. You realize that you don't even have people that you're actually open up to, that you're very close to, that really care about your well-being. You don't have people that will say, how are you feeling today? How has your day been? Like, what exactly are you feeling right now? That is actually a sign of being very lonely. Another one is when you feel like an outsider in your own place, maybe your own workplace, your church, or you just don't feel like, you just don't belong. You feel like everybody is just gathered. You're just physically there, but you're not even mentally present. You don't feel like you belong in this space. You just want to get out of that place as soon as possible. Like, whatever it is you're doing, you're not even interested in what it is they're saying anymore, what it is you're doing. Like, this is a sign that you're actually very lonely, that you're in the wrong place. Yeah. And most of the time when they ask you, how are you? The next thing you say is, I am fine. When we all know you're not fine. No. Please don't do that to yourself. Try as much as possible, as much as you can, to be sincere with your emotions, to how you feel. And that's the reason why it is very important to build strong and real connection with, it could be one or two people, a few people. Of course, it's not everybody that asks you, how are you? Then you start telling them the story of your life, or okay, this is what's going on. No. That's why it's very important to build emotional connections with a few people that you know that are sincere and honest and really, really care about you. Have people that you can trust, that you have real connection with. So how do you build real connection? There are a few simple steps in building real connection with people, in case you don't even know how to, because some people are so used to this being so rigid and keeping to themselves that they have no idea on how it is to actually be sincere and build real connection. And the first step in building real connection is be vulnerable. Share deep thoughts, share things that you know that will make the other person feel comfortable enough to express their own true feelings also. When you want to talk to people, be vulnerable. You don't have to be rigid. This is after you have figured out that, okay, this is a trustworthy person that is worthy of your true emotions and how you're really going through, what is going on with your mind. So be vulnerable when you're talking to that person, and also ask deeper questions. Sometimes I just go through my phone and I'm saying, how are you? What's going on? Have you eaten? Have you slept? Are you awake? How was your night? All these kind of things can get you turned off, because someone like me, you want to have a conversation with me. Let's have something deeper to talk about. Building real connection is about you asking questions like, how has your day been? What exactly did you go do today? Or what exactly is going on in your mind right now? Or how is your emotional state? How is your mental health? Deep connections, real questions like, how are you? Please. I will just log off. Another one is listen without fixing. Listen without, trying to fix. There are so many people that make that mistake. For example, I pick up the phone to call you and I just start ranting. And I just start ranting. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Then I come back to my senses like, hold up. The call has been going on for about 6 minutes, and I realized the last thing I heard from that person was hello. I'm like, wait, hold up, are you still there? And my friend tells me, yes, I'm still here, I'm listening. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry, I didn't know. I just needed to rant. And the person goes, yes, I understand. Please go on, I'm listening. Things like this makes you feel very comfortable. Makes people very comfortable around you, especially you that need the connection, because this person is listening and not ready to fix, not ready to say, no, this is what you should have done. No. Sometimes you don't need to do that. Most of the time, people don't even call. People don't rant because they need advice. They just rant because they need someone to talk to. They just need you to calm down and listen. Make them feel very safe talking to you without being judgmental or anything about the situation. And another way of building real connection is, you show up consistently. Be consistent. It doesn't cost you anything. Of course, that's why I said it could be 1 or 2 persons. You don't have to have so many people to be consistent with, checking up on them all the time. When you have that 1 or 2 persons that you're very certain about, being safe around them, be consistent about checking up on them. Don't just say, okay, because you have nothing to rant about today, you're not going to check up on them. No, you don't do stuff like that. You try to listen to them also. You shouldn't be the only one who has to be listened to. It has to be a mutual thing, give and take. And also, you have to be authentically you. Be authentic. The more honest you are, the easier it is for you to have this real connection. And, it helps your mental health by being open, and whatever it is that you have to let it out there. Whatever it is that you think does not need to be said, just keep it to yourself. Everything, you are able to filter all these things once you are being very authentic with yourself. Another way of building real connection is to embrace shared experience. There are some people that it could be as minute as maybe when they just lost a pet or they lose a job. They are so fragile to this extent that when they are telling you that, oh, I lost this thing, I'm so hurt, and they start crying, they want you to cry with them. Yes, you should cry with them if you have to, just because they're the kind of people that need to feel. They don't want to feel like they are being too extreme with their emotions. They need to feel that, yes, their feelings are valid. Yes, there are some people. That's why I said having real connection is not with something you do with everybody. It has to be 1 or 2 persons that that this person understands your feeling, they understand your emotions and how it goes on around you in your head. So when you come to tell them about, when you come to rant to them or you come to complain, they need you to understand and go with the flow. So you should really learn to embrace shared emotions. Sometimes some people might even need as little as taking a walk. It could be as little as, just taking a drive down the streets, just because, it's therapeutic.